Hello, my name is Keith Wolfe-Hughes, General Director of Opera Birmingham. This is our annual report for the 2019-2020 season. And as you can imagine, this is not the report I thought I might be giving when the season started. 5 years ago, I was giving my first report as the new General Director of Opera Birmingham in 2015 and shared some of the exciting new initiatives that we were developing. If this were a normal year, I would tell you about our Opera Shots pop-up concerts and how they were helping us reach audiences in new and unexpected places. I would talk about our Birmingham Speaks community conversations, which had allowed us to be more thoughtful in the way we approach our community. But this is not a normal year, so a report has to deal with a few unexpected twists in our season. Before we talk about that, though, I want to share some of the highlights of the music that we were able to share.
Last summer, we delighted the crowd at the Birmingham Barons, where we performed the national anthem before the first pitch. In August, we were a featured artist at the Birmingham Museum of Art's Art on the Rocks, performing our Opera Shots pop-up concert to a packed audience. In October, we started our season with Catch a Rising Star, featuring baritone Nicholas Ward, who lifted our hearts with a recital ranging from opera favorites to musical theater classics. Nick is a wonderful baritone, and I look forward to inviting him back to a performance on our stage. We continued to grow our partnership with Sanford Opera, which allowed us to bring the children's opera Lucinda y las Flores de la Nochebuena to families at Avondale Library. This charming opera tells the Mexican folktale of how the poinsettia became associated with Christmas, and you can see on these smiling faces, we certainly started the holiday seasons off right. The holidays are always a busy time for us, and we continue to carol at the UAB Hospital in their South Pavilion and at the Kirkland Clinic. You can see on this picture here on the left, we had a special guest who came up to us after our caroling. She said she was there for a treatment, but her doctor told her to come down and make sure she had the chance to hear us before they started her session. And it just shows how music can help heal the soul, and especially at the holiday seasons, brings us such joy. Later that week, we did our Sounds of the Season holiday concert to make sure we had the holiday spirit. We were joined by members of the Opera Birmingham Chorus and a special guest performance by the Indian Springs Chamber Choir. You can see on the right, we joined together for a wonderful version of Amazing Grace to help close our concert. After the holidays, we welcomed a new staff member. Lynn Hutton joined us as our Director of Development, and we are excited to have her as part of our team. And then we started rehearsals for our powerful chamber opera, Independence Eve. This story, which traces changing racial dynamics in American history, provoked some honest and open conversations with the cast and thought-provoking performances. After each show, we were able to have powerful conversations as part of our Birmingham Speaks program and audience talksbacks. On Friday, we were joined by Dr. Catherine Morgan, chair of the African American Studies program at UAB. Her specialty is in criminal justice, and she helped provide some very important context, especially around the second scene of the opera with the aria Stop and Frisk, and how these police programs have negatively impacted our minority communities. After this production is when our season took a little bit of a detour. We had started rehearsals for Cinderella. We were actually in our second week of rehearsals, and it was going to be a fun and charming show. Right before we had to cancel, we had our orchestra rehearsal with the cast, and it was really a wonderful production. I was looking so forward to having this cast bring this show to life on our stage. But the COVID pandemic forced the cancellation of our gala, stopped the rehearsals for Cinderella, and eventually led us to suspend our vocal competition as well. I have to say I'm proud of our board of directors and their commitment to our artist. We were one of the first companies who had to make the decision to suspend our productions, and the board did not hesitate to make sure our artists were compensated for their time. We could have used the force majeure clause in our contract to just send everybody home and say, unfortunately, we just have no control over this. But they understood the importance of making sure our artists are taken care of during this crisis, because even when we are able to return to the stage, if our artists are not also able to return, then there's no way we could do our production. So I want to thank them for their commitment to our artists and making sure we are come through this strong. And I also have to thank our team, the Opera Birmingham staff, for managing a rapidly changing situation. Every day we had to keep changing our plans, and when it was finally clear we had to make the decision to cancel, they came together quickly to draft a message and make sure everybody had a clear understanding of what was happening as we were moving through those crazy couple of days. So thank you to Eleanor, Amy, and Lynn for your commitment and all the work you have done as we have moved through this. During the shutdown, we have worked to stay engaged with our patrons. Lynn has led the staff and board members to make phone calls to many of our patrons to check in, and we look forward to continue talking with you over the summer. We have been able to share archive video of our productions from the last couple of seasons, thanks to agreements with our artists, and a special thanks to the Alabama Symphony for their permission to share scenes from last season's production of Tosca. We joined a consortium of opera companies to host weekly virtual prelude talks before the Friday night Metropolitan Opera streaming broadcast. You can see on the top left corner all of the companies we've been working with to make these virtual prelude talks happen. Eleanor developed a wonderful idea, and we've launched our first opera carpool karaoke. If you follow us on Facebook and check our social media, you'll see the first couple of editions of the opera carpool karaoke, where we've had some of our artists share some fun clips of them singing along to music that they enjoy in their off time. Amy has been working with the Opera Birmingham Chorus to create a virtual chorus performance that we hope to share with you in the next couple of weeks. You may have seen some of these where each individual person is recording their part separately, and they're all merged together in one performance. So we hope to be able to share our virtual chorus performance later this summer. Throughout this time, our team continues to work diligently to chart our path forward, holding daily video staff calls so that we can sort through all of the information we've been receiving. We're participating in ongoing calls with Opera America, sharing resources and best practices with our colleagues as it is being developed across the country. And I've been participating in twice weekly video calls with the executive directors from the Alice Stevens Center, the Alabama Symphony, the Red Mountain Theater Company, the Alabama Ballet, and the Birmingham Museum of Arts. We've been supporting each other, sharing information as we all navigate the issues around this pandemic, and have been having ongoing conversations about how our arts community can continue to work together. And we created the Birmingham Arts Drive-In event at UAB. Unfortunately, this has been postponed as the unrest in our city and the curfew happened, but we are hoping to bring this back later this summer. This has also been a challenging year for the Opera Birmingham family, as we've lost some very special people. Miss Betty Healy, who passed away in the fall, was a lifelong supporter of Opera Birmingham and a founding member of the Birmingham Opera Guild. In 2008, she was inducted as a recipient of Opera America's inaugural National Opera Trustee Recognition Awards, and we were able to recognize her in 2018 as an Opera Gala nominee. This spring, we also lost Jerry Levin, who was a lifelong lover of opera. Some of you may know, not only did he love opera, but he was a successful journalist and was the bureau chief for the Middle East for CNN in the 1970s when he was abducted by Hezbollah and held hostage for nearly a year. I was talking with his widow, Sis, who was kind of joking. While he was able to escape after about 12 months, almost 12 months of captivity, they kind of joked that his captors actually let him escape because one of the things he did to make it through that time was to sing opera, which he loved, and they probably just got tired of hearing him sing and let him escape. When Jerry returned to Birmingham, he was extremely active in our opera company and worked with Stuart Castle to help launch our annual vocal competition. Betty and Jerry will be missed by our company, and we send our thoughts and condolences to their families.
So what does the future of Opera Birmingham look like? Well, first we would like to hear from you and see what you would be comfortable doing as we look ahead to next season. You should have received in your email a survey with some questions asking what kind of events you would be comfortable doing, what kind of venues, how many people would you be comfortable being a part of as we look ahead to various opportunities in the new year. I hope you'll take a few minutes, complete this survey. It's only 10 questions. It won't take you very long, but that information will be very important as we look at various options as we move ahead. And as we are considering options, there are two key thoughts that I'm thinking about as we prepare for a new season. The first thought is the word modular. And by modular, I mean we would like to do all of the regular events and concerts and performances that we do in every season. But we know we may have to adjust the timing of some of those, and things may need to move even after we have started our planning, depending upon when various venues are going to be available and when it's going to be safe to return to some of our productions. The other word I'm thinking of is the word scalable, which means we need to think about productions, performances that can be done in various sizes, so that we can adapt to the number of resources and the types of venues that we might be able to use in the next season. Next year, we will probably start with some of our smaller events, like expanding our Opera Shots community concerts, so that we can still share music while we are waiting to return to our larger stages. We're also thinking about outdoor and open air venues where it may just be more comfortable for people to gather. We may also look at shifting our focus for a while and work more with some of our regional artists so that we avoid the risks of artists having to travel from around the country. The good news, though, is as a smaller regional company, we can embrace these changes. Since we had not announced our new season, we have the opportunity to look at more of the models and new ways that may make sense as we look into the next couple of seasons. There is some exciting news that I am able to share. Working with Samford University, we are launching the Opera Birmingham Studio at Samford University, where we will be working with their master's students to support the next generation of opera stars. This fall, we will welcome our first class of studio artists, who hopefully you will see on our stages in the next couple of months. I will be working with them as well as some of our guest artists to help train them, help prepare them for when it's time for them to launch their careers. And while we are on hiatus, this is an opportunity for us to reflect as an organization, to think about what does it mean to be an opera company in the 21st century, and how do we serve our community? How can we not only be good stewards of the resources that are provided to us, but how can we be a resource for our community? And how do we make sure our entire community is represented and supported by the work that we do, by the stories we tell on the stage, by the artists we feature in our performances, but most importantly, the community partners who we're able to work with as we are crafting new ideas and new ways of performing. This is a chance for us to all think about how we are serving the community and helping everyone move ahead and heal in these uncertain times. We are looking forward to coming back together, to sharing music, and to seeing you when we are able to return to the stage. I thank you for your support, for your donations, your ticket purchases, and for your continued involvement in the work that Opera Birmingham does. We look forward to seeing you soon. Thank you.